Extending the Viscoplastic Medicine Theory, VMT, Energy Model Beyond Medicine, a systemic framework for psychology, social science, economics, and other fields, number 1340, VMT Sharp 692, Ausus 29, 2025, Gerald C. EclaireMD Foundation Category, Methodology, and Applications. Introduction. The Viscoplastic Medicine Theory, VMT, began as a medical research model to explain chronic disease progression. It was inspired by my MIT advisor, Professor Norman Jones, who applied nonlinear dynamic plasticity to engineering materials. He pointed out that biological and human systems also behave in nonlinear, dynamic, and irreversible ways. Building on his insight, I developed VMT to model how stress accumulates, passes thresholds, and leaves permanent change. Over the past 6 years, I have published more than 690 research papers using this approach, and I have also embedded VMT calculations into my medical AI software running on my iPhone. What makes VMT powerful is that its principles extend far beyond medicine. Psychology, economics, and social science all show the same cascades of stress and strain. Once damage occurs, recovery rarely restores the system to its original baseline. Medicine and psychology. In medicine, chronic diseases unfold through layered steps. Personality traits such as poor self-control or impulsivity may first drive overeating and inactivity. This leads to obesity and diabetes, which then become new stressors that accelerate cardiovascular disease, kidney disease, stroke, even cancers. I personally experienced this cascade in June 2025, when emotional stress triggered an acute hypertensive surge and a hemorrhagic stroke. My case illustrates how psychological stress, physiology, and pathology can converge into a single event. Psychology itself also fits the VMT model. A personality disorder may be an output of childhood stress, but it also becomes an input stressor for adult behaviors, strained relationships, and secondary conditions such as anxiety or depression. This recursive input-output loop is the same logic we see in diabetes, feeding into further complications. Economics and social systems. Economics seems far removed from medicine, yet the dynamics are similar. Financial imbalances, policy shifts, and cultural changes accumulate silently, until the system reaches a tipping point. When thresholds break, strain appears suddenly as recession, inflation, or industry collapse. For example, the decline of large shopping malls and brand-name restaurants reflects cultural stressors, amplified by online retail and changing lifestyles of younger generations. A recession itself then becomes a stressor, leaving scars such as long-term unemployment or productivity loss. Just as stiffened arteries cannot return to their original state, economies rarely recover fully from deep crises. Prevention of imbalance is far more effective than repair. I also studied the divergent social outcomes of 3 top school graduates, with similar intelligence and education. Over 50 years, their careers and financial situations diverged sharply. Using VMT, I found that early stresses and decisions cascaded into irreversible differences, echoing the same principles found in medicine and economics. Key insights. Across medicine, psychology, economics, and social science, VMT highlights 1. Cascading causality, outcomes at one stage seed stresses for the next. 2. Recursive roles, the same factor can be both an output and a new input. 3. Irreversibility, scars remain. Prevention is more effective than repair. Conclusion. The VMT framework is not limited to chronic disease. It provides a systemic lens for understanding complex human and social dynamics. By quantifying energy interactions of stress and strain, VMT helps explain why prevention is superior to late intervention in medicine, psychology, economics, and beyond. Disclaimer: this content is for educational reference only and not professional advice. No doctor, patient or teacher, student relationship is created. You may share this summary freely, but it must not be edited or republished as your own.